Hello, GDC, and welcome to Stuff You Should Know as a Game Developer by Mark Van Gouteren. So first thing we're going to do is look at the best game publishers. Now, game publishing is they're a good way to gain money expertise for a game in exchange for color profits. So it's a good way to keep the lights on while you're developing a game in between sales, between releases. And game developers usually don't have a lot of knowledge about finance, marketing, distribution, all that kind of stuff. So game publishers are a good way to, get that kind of expertise on board. There are a lot of ways a publisher can be good. Here we'll just look at the average global sales and the average North American sales, because that's basically what the end goal is, to get the most sales. And quick side note, this analysis was done prior to Microsoft buying Bethesda, so I'm not sure how that was done, but we'll see. So the first thing that we notice about the top publishers globally is Nintendo is obviously at the highest. They have an incredibly loyal fan base who buy their games a lot, and it should be noted that most of their successful games are kind of developed in-house, but that's a area for further research to see if their other games do as well. What we kind of see, what isn't on the graph though, is we only did a lot of big name these are only the publishers that were above average, and a lot of the publishers we don't see, a lot of big publishers we hear in the States is like EA and Ubisoft. They aren't on here. So that's kind of interesting, so they don't do as well globally as they do, in domestic market. So here we'll see the next we'll see North American publishers, and here we see Nintendo is still good. Microsoft game kind of does beat them out, but Nintendo still takes them out. We're not sponsored by them, we promise, but now we see that Ubisoft and stuff still isn't on there, but so they're probably not as big as we thought. But Microsoft, with Minecraft and Halo, they do the best. They take the lead. So, and here next we'll see what genres do better and which reasons. Different cultures around the world do like different things, and this extends to video games. Anyone can like any type of different game. We do tend to see different genres sell better in different regions. Here we're just going to take a look at the average global sales to get kind of idea globally which ones do the best. And then we're going to break it down by the three major markets: North America, Europe, and Japan. Though should be noted that genre can mean different things in different regions. For example, in North America, if you say an RPG, you think Skyrim. If you go to Japan and say RPG, they think Pokemon, they're both still RPGs, but kind of different flavors. So note that. So we can see that puzzle and platforming games and racing games are doing really well. We can kind of attribute that to most of their family-friendly nature, where, hey, even if a well-designed puzzle or platform game can still be challenging and still be fun for an adult, but a shooter game, most parents won't buy that for their kids. And also there's just a lot of different people like puzzle games. Not everyone will like a shooter game, for example. But and here are the North American sales by genre. You can see puzzle and platform are still way up there, but here we see shooter and all those coming back up for us. So yeah. Here are the EU sales by genre, and as you can see, sports games are the highest. Here we can attribute that to kind of the culture around how they really for example, soccer there. And hey, there are a lot of very popular recurring series in Europe that are around soccer and those kind of games. So if you're developing a game that's kind of like that, you're not going to get the same as much recognition. But if you decide, hey, we have soccer but with a unique twist, or something like that. It could find that in the European market. And finally, we just take a look at Japan. Here we see the largest gap between first and second place. We don't know why, but Japanese gamers really love RPGs. In fact, it's kind of like sometimes it's commonplace for after a big game, a big role-playing game to release there, like Dragon Quest or something. They'll just all the employees at a company will take the day off. It's kind of unofficial public holiday, which is strange. We don't really have an equivalent here in the States, except maybe like when GTA 5 came out. But it should be noted that this is an example where JRPGs or Japanese RPGs or JRPGs are very different from normal American RPGs that we would tend to think of. But it's actually kind of a funny gaming history thing where JRPGs were inspired off of Dragon Quest, and early Western RPGs were taking influence straight from D&D. This kind of whole thing. But yeah, so if you are making a game that has kind of JRPG elements, it'll probably find success in the States because a lot of people like those nostalgic kind of things. But if you have a Japanese port, that would be very helpful. And that is all. Thank you for watching GDC.